one of the things I was thinking about is a conversation I had about taking thoughts captive. CBT in traditional therapy talks a lot about how, hi Brittany, how we need to be aware of what we're thinking and kind of question what we're thinking, and then determine if it's something that is worth thinking about, or something that brings us joy, something that uplifts us, or something that tears us down. And I love those little skills that we can learn. The cool thing is the Bible has been saying similar things like that for centuries. And so the idea is taking thoughts captive is when something comes into your head, it's examining it. It's thinking like, was that me? Was that somebody else or something else putting that thought there? Why did that thought come in? Let me think about, does that thought bring me peace, joy, and love? Does it uplift me? Is it something that gives me the positive feels inside? Or is it something that actually makes me feel yucky inside, or fearful, or makes me want to hurt myself or someone else? Just things like that, like questioning, like, maybe it's a jealous thought. Maybe you're thinking something, oh, I wonder if that person blah, 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 or I wish I had that person's, you have these different thoughts, right? We all do, every single one of us, every single day. And we have the ability, and sometimes we feel trapped, but we do have the ability to think, is this something that makes me feel good, that uplifts me, that makes me have more joy? Or is this something that kind of steals my joy? Is this something that steals, kills, or destroys me? And just to really recognize if it's something that's tearing you down or stealing your peace, or do you think that ultimately will destroy you, whether emotionally or spiritually or physically? It's like, okay, I'm not going to think that thought. And for people who have faith with Christianity, Jesus followers, the idea is like taking thoughts captive. And then when we take those thoughts captive, we bring them to what they call in the Bible, the obedience to Christ. So we can bring them to Jesus and say, hey, Jesus, here's this thought that I had, and I don't want to have that thought anymore. So and sometimes it's like the complete opposite of what is actually true. Nobody likes you. Maybe that's a thought that you had. No one likes you, and you think that because no one reaches out to you or calls you or asks you to go out to dinner or whatever, right? Yeah, no one likes me. Does that make you feel good or bad? It would make me feel bad. And so I say, okay, that makes me feel bad. So Jesus, I just bring you the thought that no one likes me. Would you give me the truth? And the reality is somebody likes me. I have friends. I know people. People know me, they like me. And then I can just dispel or dismiss or get rid of that other thing that popped in my head that nobody likes me, right? But if it's something that lifts us up, it's okay that it brings us joy, it brings us peace, right? Wow, you have a lot to be thankful for today. Yeah, I do have a lot to be thankful for today. Or, oh, he's so cute, I just love him. Like, those are little thoughts that pop in our head. Or, look at that little dog hanging out the window. I love when people see my girls and they get little smiles on their face. And I know it brings them joy, and it brings me joy watching it bring them joy, But like, a lot of times our thoughts are thoughts that don't bring us joy, that they don't lift us up, they don't encourage us, they actually discourage us, they actually make us want to hurt ourselves or hurt other people or not be nice to ourselves. And the reality is we have a real enemy. And whether you want to call that your, like, I don't know what people say that aren't Christian people, I think it's the enemy of our soul. I think God made us, and we have an enemy who hates us. And it's not because necessarily us, however, we are created in the image of God, so that, but also because God gave his son Jesus for us. So we're like really, really priceless to God. Like, he loves us, and maybe you just think it's yourself. Maybe if you don't have any faith, you're just like, yeah, just a part of me is really negative, or a part of me is super jealous, or Maybe you think it's a generational thing, and it very well could be that something in your family line is kind of a stronghold for you, whether that's sexual thoughts or like pornography or things like that, or alcoholism. Like, I can't live my life without a drink, or I can't live my life unless I smoke some weed at night so I can go to bed, or whatever the thing is that you may be believing that isn't even true. Truth sets us free. I'm reminded today after conversations that truth sets us free. And one of the biggest issues in our world, I just feel like these days, is the big question of what is truth, or that's my truth. What's your truth? I feel like that is such shaky ground. You got to really know what you believe, and is what you're believing really, like, is it strengthening to you? Does it bring you peace, true peace? The beliefs that I have really do bring me peace. It literally makes me feel so peaceful and so joyful and so content that I cannot imagine living my life any other way. Because I know what it's like to live without that. And I know how that feels. And I know how it feels awful in so many different scenarios. Thinking somebody snubbed me without knowing that God loves me makes me feel so rejected. But if somebody snubs me now, I'm like, it's okay. Like, you get to snub me and I know I'm still loved. Like, I have this firm foundation on which I stand. It's like, what are you thinking about? Are you bringing those thoughts captive to Jesus? Are you saying, here's my negative thought, kind of like confession, like, here's just what popped in my head. And he's just like, yeah, I'm going to give you truth around that, versus, don't ever be afraid to go to God. Ever. I used to be super afraid to tell him what I was thinking. I'm like, had the revelation that he already knows what I'm thinking anyway. So I just confess it to him. This is what I'm thinking, or this is what just popped in my head. Is this from you? If not, could you give me the truth here? And then when he gives me the truth, I am able to be thankful. God will never be angry at you for doing that. Okay. And I'm working on this little course right now about how to hear from God. And I would love to share that with people if they're curious about how to do that, because like, I talk pretty freely about it, and it's not like this booming out of a voice. It's honestly the tiniest little voice inside my head. Just have this little thoughts here and there. But I can teach you how to do that. And I think it's really valuable for people, especially when you're trying to, think about what you're thinking about, and try to focus on and renew your mind, and try to think on the things that God says are true and worthy and good. It's important to be able to hear from him. And one of the easiest way to do that is through the Bible. And I know the Bible can be intimidating to some people, and like, where do I even start? It's not chronological. This is confusing. So I get it. And if you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share with you what I know. But it's just really important, like, what we believe and how that is affecting us, and like, just realizing that we have a choice on what we believe, that you are not stuck in your own little head. Okay. You are not a prisoner here. And this is where the biggest battleground is. Like, you think about something and then you say it. You think about something and then you do it, right? So what we think and do, really how we feel, has everything to do with what's going on in our minds. And so we want to make sure our minds are good and pure and being led by truth, not lies. Does that make sense?